My name's George Matea, and I would like to welcome you to the 30th AFACCT, 30th Annual AFACCT Conference. The topic this year is global learning, reflecting on the past, looking to the future. Today we have over 120 presenters and about 96 presentations. We have a couple of changes that you might have seen on the boards in the back of the registration area. Session 4.3 of the speaker, who was Donnelly, grades, grammar, or grit, it has been canceled. Session 4.11, Williams and Sims Clark, has also been canceled. In session 4.3, we have transferred the talk by Washington et al. Over to MASH 036. So please make a note of that. They have been moved, their room has been moved. I would like to thank all of the presenters for sharing their time to share your research and expertise with the rest of us. Be sure to stop by the registration desk on your way out to pick up your presenter gift and your certificate. I would also like to thank all of the AFACCT board members. And if there are board members here, I would like you to stand, please. They still may be working. These are the members who have dedicated a lot of time and energy to put this conference together. And I'd especially like to thank Jason Spiegelman, who is the site coordinator for the Community College of Baltimore County for the AFACCT conference this year. Jason has done a tremendous amount of work organizing this conference. And of course, I would like to thank the M4 CAO group of academic VPs and deans for their financial and moral support, especially Jack McLaughlin, the Vice President of Instruction for CCBC, who is our liaison. Finally, I'd also like to thank our donors. A complete list of donors may be found on the back of your conference booklet. During lunch today, we will be collecting the red tickets that we will be handing out during lunch, and the winners of the donated items will be posted on the board behind the registration desk during the afternoon session. For those of you who are new to the AFACCT conference, there are 10 to 12 simultaneous presentations during each session period. The seating will vary from room to room. This year, the seating in the breakout sessions will vary from maybe 30 seats to about 50 seats. This is community college, so consistent with our philosophy, as you can see, the classrooms may not be large. If a session you have chosen is full, please visit a different session. Please refrain from pulling chairs into a crowded room, as this might be a violation of the local fire code. Please do not forget to fill out your evaluations. When you turn in your evaluation at the end of the day, you will receive the coveted AFACCT mug. And this is the mug for the 30th conference. So you don't want to leave the conference without one. Any session cancellations will be listed behind the registration desk. Water, tea, and coffee will be available all day. For lunch, we would like to ask you to go through the MASH building and exit the MASH building on the first level, not the ground level, but the first level. And we will have our student ambassadors or an ambassador to show you, to escort you over to the Student Success Building. Lastly, the conference in 2021 will be at Chesapeake College. We are searching for keynote speakers for the next conference, so if you hear of someone that you might think would benefit the AFACCT conference attendees, please let your representative know. and we will follow up on this. At this time, I would like to present the president of the Community College of Baltimore County and the host of the 30th Annual AFACCT Conference, Dr. Sandra Curtinitis.
Thank you, George. Well, Happy New Year. Good morning. I am Sandra Curtinitis, the proud president of the Community College of Baltimore County. George, I'm wondering if there's anybody who has all 30 of these. 30th anniversary, do you? No, okay. Well, listen, I'm delighted to welcome you on behalf of all the 16 community college presidents across the state, but also on behalf of all of us at CCBC. And I want you to know that I'm extraordinarily proud of the fact that I attended the very first AFACCT conference, when actually, George, I don't think they gave us mugs. They just gave us inspiration, but that was back at Prince George's Community College in the mid-'80s, and I was an English professor at Prince George's for 22 years. And as an aside, I would just say to you, I think those 22 years in a community college classroom really are the best credential that I have for being a community college president. I'm always grateful to Prince George's for that experience. So let me just share a few things with you. And the first is, I want to compliment you on the conference theme, global learning. And I know you're going to hear from Dr. Hawkins about the work that Frederick has done on global learning. There's an importance to this that actually translates into the work that we need to be doing now in the 21st century. And there's a phrase that I like. It goes this way, that the product of what we do in our classrooms every day has to look like this in the 21st century. Technologically literate, of course, yet humane citizenry, of course, able to thrive and not just survive in the world as global village. Whether someone never leaves Catonsville, he or she needs to be drawn into this notion of the world, as opposed to just that little community. So, this is an exciting time to be a community college professional, and I hope that you all are proud to be one. But you may have noticed this, that almost every sector of higher education is busy co-opting our mantra of student success. They're all talking about it. But there's no sector for which those words mean more than just marketing fodder. There's no sector other than ours that those words mean more than just what they put in their brochures. And I dare say that as you are all community college professionals, I'm a community college professional, what we know is if you really are a community college professional, if you live it in your heart as well as your head, then from your very first paycheck until maybe your very first retirement paycheck, you live, you breathe, you savor those words. Because we know that this is truly the Lord's work that we do. We are the practical cats of higher education, and nobody else can do what we do, even though they try and they think they can. And I know I speak for all of my colleague presidents when I look out at you and I say that what we see when we look out at you is an amazing confluence of talent and vision and energy and grit. The raw talent that we need to do the hard work that has been mandated for us by our open door mission. This generation of community college professionals can't just focus one at a time on things like pathways and multiple measures and self-directed learning or accelerated development. You can't be a community college professional in the 21st century and just focus on the initiative du jour. Our job is to be creating or maybe recreating the community college of the 21st century. And these jobs have never been more challenging, but they also have never been more important. And I ask you, as I ask every audience that I address, if we do not serve these students, who will? And I think the answer is almost no one. So you see why I say the work we do every day, simple, ordinary community college people like us, the work we do every single day has great meaning and great importance, actually, to the communities that we serve, where in every single household that is talking about sending a child to college, the issues of the importance of middle skills, the high cost of college, and the size of student debt are at everybody's dining room table. And nobody can make a difference in any of that, except those of us who spend every single day working to advance the cause for nearly 500,000 Marylanders each year. So I know I speak for all of my presidential colleagues when I say, we know our secret weapon isn't money. We will never have enough of that. We're community colleges. But our secret weapon is the talent and the sheer dogged determination of our faculty and staff, who every day work hard to do the right thing. And you mix that with the extraordinary can-do spirit of community college people. So if Samson's strength lay in his hair, ours lays in our people. All of you and the folks who will be part of this amazing experience for the next 2 days. I know very well it is usually the president's portrait we hang in the hallways, but I also know that very few students will ever remember the name of the president, especially if you have a name like Catonsville. Most people can't even pronounce it. But every single one of them will remember one of you, the biology professor, the English professor, the mathematics professor. So we know, I, my 16 colleague presidents, we know where our strength lies. And because of that, we know that it is right for us to support conferences like this that bring together faculty from all across the state to actually just spend 2 days of pure pedagogical pleasure. No papers to grade, no tests to look at. 120 of you are going to do presentations. George, that's wonderful to have that much engagement. And then you just get to sit in the audience. You don't even have to take notes. You just kind of enjoy it and be part of it and embrace it. So on behalf of all the community college presidents, I want to thank you for being part of this extensive cadre that gives the strength and meaning to the community college mission in Maryland. And I wish you a great conference. Thank you.
Good morning. Dr. Catonsville, thank you for those inspired remarks. Thank you very much. My name is Jason Spiegelman. I have the pleasure of being the site coordinator for the AFACCT conference. George, thank you for your kind acknowledgement earlier. And it is my privilege to introduce today's keynote speaker, Dr. Tony Hawkins. Dr. Hawkins has diverse and varied educational experiences as an administrator, a faculty member, and a student. He is currently Provost and Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs, Continuing Education, and Workforce Development at Frederick Community College in Maryland. Prior to assuming this assignment, he was the college-wide Dean of Humanities at Montgomery College and performed other administrative duties at the Tacoma Park and Silver Spring and Germantown campuses of Montgomery College and Hudson County Community College in Jersey City, New Jersey. Dr. Hawkins held the faculty rank of Associate Professor of Speech Communication and Theater at Prince George's Community College, teaching courses in human communication, theater, and radio, television, and film production. Born and raised in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, Dr. Hawkins earned his bachelor's degree from Towson State University, master's from University of Georgia, certificate of advanced study from Harvard University's Graduate School of Education, and PhD in educational leadership from New York University. His research interests include exploring the relationships between community colleges and their secondary school partners, issues of access and equity, and the impact of education policy on urban community colleges. He has presented on the achievement gap, the connection between student and academic affairs, and classroom assessment techniques. He is also a certified workshop leader in facilitative leadership by Interactive Associates. The title of his talk today is Exploring the Global Learning Opportunities at Community Colleges. Please help me welcome Dr. Tony Hawkins.
Give me 1 second to set things up on the computer. And oh. Okay, what's going on? All right. There's too much stuff on this platform. Excellent. I apologize. First of all, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to participate in the 30th annual meeting of the Association of the Faculties for Advancement in Community College Teaching. I have a very close relationship with this association as a board member representing Prince George's Community College back in 1991. I don't have a mug from 1991 because I think Dr. Curtinitis is correct. I don't think we actually gave mugs at that time. But I am very fortunate to have served as a member of the faculty, the fine faculty at Prince George's Community College, and has served as an academic administrator either at Montgomery College and now currently at Frederick Community College. So as you can see, I love the state, I love what we do, I love the opportunities that this organization affords us to get together during the month of January for a couple of days. And I'm truly blown away by how an annual statewide gathering of faculty, both full and part-time, academic administrators, chief academic officers, how we all get together and have been able to do that for the last 30 years. So you should all, members of AFACCT, congratulations, and those that are here, we're glad that you are here today. So the leadership of the organization is, once again, is very strong and has grown over the last 30 years from my participation as a member. This year's topic, global learning, reflecting on the past, looking to the future, seems to sit well with me and my recent experiences as an educator. I was reminded this morning by Facebook that 2 years ago I had the opportunity to travel with Professor Laura Diaz, who is in the audience and is the Frederick Community College representative to AFACCT. Laura and I accompanied a group of 6 students from FCC to Costa Rica. Nice place to be in January. We had a really full, rich international experience. We participated in a lot of activities. We learned how coffee is made. We learned the importance of ecotourism and the ecology and the interconnectedness between what is happening in Latin America and the impact that it had on us in North America. That experience was both memorable for myself as well as the students that participated. And as a step and a tenet of global learning, international travel is a key component. However, it's something that's not available to all of our students. So when we look at exploring what opportunities exist on our campuses, just know that it's greater than international travel. And I'd like to be able to present some of those things to you. Global awareness has become a priority at colleges and universities. And thanks to the digital information age that we live in, it's impossible to ignore the interconnectedness of the world in our daily life and our work. Local problems have global connections and implications, and they cannot be solved by individuals in a single country. At the same time, employers have made a strong case for global learning. According to a 2015 survey conducted by Hart Research, nearly 96% of employers agreed that students needed to be able to solve problems with people with different views from their own. 78% felt that students needed intercultural skills and understanding of societies and countries outside of the United States. Problem solving with different people. Knowledge and understanding of different cultures outside of the United States. These are the types of skills that students learn from high-quality global learning exercises. My role this morning is to set the stage for the global learning topic by presenting the exploration of global learning opportunities at community colleges. Throughout your conference, you'll hear presentations of models of success in the area of global learning. I'd like to use my remarks this morning as an opportunity to share with you the journey that Frederick Community College has taken as we implement our new program of global learning, allowing students to develop a general level of understanding as citizens living in an interconnected world. I will describe our journey from the interest of a few faculty members who were interested in international travel to an emerging institutional commitment to global learning. It's an exciting opportunity. It is something that has a full commitment of our college, and we're doing it in a way that is unique because we are connecting the local impact and diversity with our global initiative. So we're looking locally prior to going globally. And we've been able to connect our global learning operation with our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. So looking at immigrant students, looking at gender and sexuality, all in a context of a global learning environment. So by the end of this address, I would like to define the global learner. I'd like to describe the transition the Global Learning Council has had and its impact on the college, to tell you where we've been and where we're trying to go. You'll see on the graphic to the left our plan. Be nice to have a plan that goes from the start point to the finish line, but the reality is the line, the model that's down below, where you'll see it takes twice as long for us to get there. There's some peaks and valleys, some false starts. Sometimes we have to import shortcuts. Sometimes we have to go through the water. Sometimes we have to zip line down the water. And there are things such as external factors, climate, other things that may disrupt our progress. So I'll talk to you a little bit about our plan and then kind of give you the reality of what's happening. I'd like to talk a little bit about our overarching goals for global learning at the college, describe some simple wins that we've had thus far, and I hope to leave you with the realities, needs, and struggles of this work and why it's important for us all. So, what is global learning and why the change from the term international education? First, the term global more elegantly expresses the interconnectivity between students and their fellow world citizens more so than the term international. One of the complicating factors in thinking about global learners involves distinguishing between the goal of developing global expertise, so learning a language or incorporating a chapter or a unit about difference and diversity in a course. So distinguishing between the goal of developing expertise and the goal of developing a more general level of global understanding as a citizen living in an interconnected world. There are so many examples today of the interconnectedness of our world. The wildfires in Australia and California and the impact of smoke on our environment. The World Water Day, and for those of you that don't know about World Water Day, March the 22nd, we should spend time increasing the awareness of the decline in the fresh water on the planet. It's a United Nations initiative, and most institutions, for us, this is how we began looking at global issues locally through the celebration of World Water Day. Looking at, there are examples of inclusion and the violation of inclusion that keep this topic alive. We want to make certain that LGBTQIA voices are alive. We want to support immigrant and DACA students. And there are opportunities for global projects in the arts and the humanities that are present every day in our lives to show the interconnectedness of the world around us. The key organizing concept is interdependence, which highlights the complex web of interrelationships that exists between people, places, issues, and events in the world. An exploration of the local-global connection is at the heart of global education, and these dimensions are inextricably related and relevant to all disciplines, no matter where you come. According to UNESCO global scholar David Hicks, there are two approaches to teaching and learning as they relate to global learning. One is experiential, and the other one is participatory. The first approach is concerned with learner-centered education, i.e. the development of an individual. So how do we instill a global understanding in individuals? The second focuses more on the role that that education can play in helping create a more just and equitable society. And the emphasis in global education or global learning is therefore on both changing the self and changing society, for neither is possible without the other. And I'm here to advocate today that community colleges are perfect places for global teaching and learning, where we realize the global in our local communication, or local communities. Global learning at FCC came as a result of the confluence of three pretty interesting events. The first is that we developed our academic master plan a couple of years ago, looking at our program, looking at the structure of what it is that we offer students. And this academic master plan, the development of this plan, really started to allow us to have conversations and tangentially conversations about global learning. The second timely event was the revision of the International Education Strategic Plan. As I said before, our strategic priority for global learning was really international travel. We had two very successful international travel experiences, but it really did benefit just a few students instead of really kind of upscaling it so that would have an impact on the entire college population. These opportunities were local in nature and really limited to a trip to Russia and some destinations to Europe. The third timely event was the hiring of a new executive director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we took this opportunity to house the director of DEI, not as a direct report to the president, but as a direct report to the provost. And this gave us an opportunity to use our DEI initiatives in the training and support of faculty and teaching and learning. There's a dotted line to human resources to cover all of the required information for hiring and personnel. And there's a dotted line to our student development area, which helps support the individual needs of our students. But housing the director of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the academic area really did bring that initiative closer to faculty and the impact it would have on students. So we began the discussion of our transition to global in 2017 as a part of our academic master plan. Faculty and staff created a profile of the student academic experience, which is the heat map that you see on the left. And you'll notice that as a result of our conversation, we thought that the academic experience for a student should be inclusive, should be student-centered, should be transferable, innovative, and community and globally connected. So for the first time, we were going to begin from this perspective that our experience should be open, our experience should be transferable, should be innovative, and if we could, we'd like to place within the center of it an understanding of global and community connectedness. So the FCC International Learning Committee was also engaged at the same time in a strategic planning process. That discussion helped us answer the question why we should prepare our students to be globally engaged aware, and skilled. We believe that students should be engaged and skilled in this work because of the job market or the world that they're about to enter, or the one that's coming. We thought that they should be engaged and skilled in global learning because it's smart business. Frederick County is diversifying. And I'll give you a little bit of background about the composition of the county and the college. And you can see we have noticed a great deal of growth in the students that attend and the population of the county itself. We've done reading and we've been looking at the data, especially the data in project management and team building. And the data tells us that diverse teams produce more innovation. So we need to recognize and support diversity and global learning because the teams that our students would be participating in would be more diverse, and they need to have skills in order to participate. This one is my personal favorite. We should engage preparing them because the world is awesome. It's a great place to be. We want to recognize it and get outside of our comfort zones. And finally, we should prepare our students to be globally engaged, aware, and skilled because it's the right thing to do. And this is the moment where we all smile and feel good because we're really opening up experiences in our classrooms, on our campuses, because it's what helps make our citizenry more educated, more open to accepting differences, and being able to support and recognize the impact of the global connectedness on our communities. So let me tell you about Frederick Community College. For those of you that like numbers, here's a whole list of lots of data for you to digest. Just want to point out a few things for you. FCC is a medium-sized public two-year community college enrolling almost 9,000 credit students and more than 7,100 continuing education and workforce development students a year. The students come from 75 countries. I was at the Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus of Montgomery College, and those students represent 125 countries. But Frederick County, having 75 countries represented, is pretty impressive. We're located about an hour west of Baltimore and 1 hour north of Washington, D.C. And we kind of feel a little tucked away and isolated. But the growth and the spread that is occurring from our surrounding areas are making our county very diverse. And we're recognizing it and we're using it to our advantage. 57% of our students are female, and 96% of our students are actually from Frederick County. So a very large percentage of our direct student population are from the county itself. We have noticed an increase in our immigrant students and our ESL students, and we're reacting and responding positively to the growth in that area and providing support for those students as well. Fort Detrick employees were among the first faculty at FCC. So we did have an international presence among our faculty at the very beginning. However, at the same time, Frederick County is the home for many Civil War battles and the hallowed ground where battles occurred. Very many Civil War sites occurred there. And right now we're experiencing this great, amazing notice by being a foodie destination. We've got a couple of Top Chef semi-finalists that have opened several restaurants in the city of Frederick. If you haven't tried them out, please give us a call. We'd love to show you downtown Frederick and really just kind of show you why we love the county that we do. So these are some numbers that help support and give you a context of FCC. So Frederick County itself has provided an opportunity for us to reimagine what a local community college is about. At the same time, we've also been able to connect this work to our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And for us, global learning means moving past abstract appreciation and tolerance to a more deep understanding of real and profound differences as part of our shared humanity. We want global learning that realizes local global connections that are historical, joyous, painful, and/or contradictory. By looking at our communities, we are able to realize that many things that happen in our neighboring counties really do affect us. I'm recalling the Freddie Gray incident in downtown Baltimore, how our students were impacted with confusion about police-civilian relationships. Although it didn't happen to us directly in Frederick County, we did have to have conversations on campus about race and law enforcement. So we're hoping that our connections with our local, with the college, with our surrounding areas, we can talk about it, we can put it out, we can celebrate when things are good, we can also have moments of pain, and when we're confused, we want to have police officers support us, but we also are concerned about safety for especially men of color, how those contradictory feelings and thoughts need to be expressed. So we wanted global learning to really allow us to do that. We wanted global learning that fosters commitment to engaging across differences, both here in our home county and around the world. And we wanted global learning that is relational, so that it really establishes relations, not just a simple transaction based upon an economic model. Although that is important, our economy is based upon our interactions, but really how do we develop relationships with others, especially others that are different. We want to take advantage of opportunities to realize the global in the local and vice versa, the local in the global. And finally, we want these experiences to be selective. So instead of trying to make everyone an expert in global learning, we want it to be inspirational. We would like students to be able to desire to know more, a desire to learn more, and a desire to experience differences by participating in our programs. So instead of teaching someone to completely be open and receptive, we want to start that conversation and allow them to explore and learn other things. So you can see where this desire to be global doesn't necessarily fit within an international model. You can see the work of our International Education Committee. That group primarily focused its work on supporting international travel, assisting in the development of a handbook, the development of an international policy, of reviewing proposals for trips and making recommendations to senior leaders that the trip should go. This was all really exciting, but it really wasn't the work that was needed in global learning. So the committee recognized the need to continue to review trip programs and proposals, but they also recommended that the future work focus less on trips and more on globally focused curricular and co-curricular work, which far more students at the college would benefit. So informed by the academic master planning process, we renamed the International Education Committee the Global Learning Committee, or the GLC. Overall, the GLC's primary role is to advocate for global teaching and learning. The committee structure provided a leadership opportunity for faculty with expertise in global learning, growth opportunities for faculty who were interested in infusing global learning into their teaching and learning, and an administrative staffing presence designed to support global teaching and learning through diversity, equity, and inclusion. We wanted to look at our general education curriculum and see how we could modify our general education. We also wanted to look at co-curricular programming, and most importantly, this work is important and is effective only if there's a rethinking of the professional development that's associated with it as well. So this GLC group looked at faculty professional development. The GLC is co-chaired by a faculty member and the executive director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So 1 year later, we went from a college that had two main foci for international education, supporting a few trips, and promoting co-curricular activities to an education week. After 2019, we developed the Global Learning Strategic Plan, and the three areas that we were concentrating on specifically are professional development for faculty, co-curricular engagement, and curriculum. The Global Learning Strategic Plan places less of a focus on the world across oceans and more the world within our institution. So our plan contains three overarching goals. The first is to look at expansion of our global responsive teaching and learning. The second is to allow our students, our faculty, and our staff to gain knowledge, skills, and competencies necessary to live and work in a globally connected world. And thirdly, the third overarching goal was to bring out the world that is FCC and bring more of the world to FCC, both literally and metaphorically. To the right column are some of our specific goals. We want to build capacity for faculty across disciplines, so not the siloed experiences of a sociology department or a math department, but really allowing faculty members across disciplines to expand their capacity in a global learning environment. We would like to hire a faculty member to teach global learning or global studies and develop potentially a global studies program. We had a specific goal of supporting our immigrant and international students, faculty, and staff. We have a goal of diversifying our curriculum as well as our faculty and staff. And finally, we want to infuse the college with globally engaged teaching and learning. The next two slides illustrate a few of our victories and a few of our major wins. As I mentioned before, we have developed a global learning committee. So we reconstituted the International Learning Education Committee to a global learning committee. And the global learning committee, as I said, is co-chaired by a professor who receives release time and our senior diversity officer at the college. We have implemented over the last 2 years several professional development opportunities to once again support faculty in their building of capacity and knowledge around the topic. We have monthly professional development sessions that are provided on globally engaged classrooms, and there's a list of some of the topics that have been presented monthly. Our faculty association last May utilized their retreat, their annual retreat, and that annual retreat had a global learning theme. So our full-time faculty that are part of that association spent time really talking about global learning and what does it mean in the context of the work that they do. And the last 2 summers, so the summer of 18 and the summer of 19, we created summer institutes for faculty on building global learning capacity. We had about 16 faculty members participate over the last 2 summers, and they developed projects that they would introduce into their courses under the guidance and leadership of our Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Some of the other wins, we have a campus book discussion, and the last 2 years those books have focused on global learning. Two years ago, or a year ago, we, as a campus, read the book of Unknown Americans by Cristina Enriquez, and we were also afforded the opportunity, through some collaboration with our partners in the county, she was able to come to the college and speak directly to her experiences as a Latinx immigrant. This year and next year, our book is Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. It's about his experience growing up in South Africa. And that book the discussion is facilitated by several of our FCC faculty and staff. As I speak to you today, 4 of our faculty members are participating in a building capacity travel experience. They are now in Ghana. They are, once again, we're trying to expand the destinations that are international travel opportunities for students by going to Ghana. We've got a faculty member for the first time in nursing who is going to have a study abroad experience in looking at healthcare in Ghana. And then we've got 3 faculty members, one in communication, one in English, and one in social sciences, doing very similar work within their courses. So the FCC journey is far from complete. It's also far from perfect. We remember the plan versus reality slide at the beginning, a few slides back. But we realize that the reality of the work that we're doing is not easy, but it is very personally connected to some of the things that we'd like to do at FCC. So we have some needs, and like many of you, these needs probably aren't surprising. Obviously, it's an initiative that has to have resources, so everyone will say we need more resources to help support this initiative. We are looking at ways to develop more resources, including identifying a faculty member to run a global studies program. Right now, as I mentioned, much of our work is done in departments, and we're breaking down the silos and encouraging folks to have better interdisciplinary conversations about the work. And finally, we know that many of our new faculty and staff come with an interest in global learning and have experiences with this topic. We're committed to engaging our new faculty and our new staff in participating in these discussions. We've also listed for you several of our struggles. As a community college, we are very local and really committed to the nature of our local community, and supporting what we do here, and the rest of it is kind of out there. And that's a struggle where we're trying to convince folks that what we do here affects what happens out in the real world, or what happens in the world also affects us locally. So that's a struggle that we have. Another struggle that we have is we want to inspire folks to do global learning, not force it upon them. We want them to realize on their own that this is good, that this is supportive, and want them to be engaged because it's the right thing to do, not mandate that the provost said that this is something that you should do. We want to make sure that the focus never obscures, and often it accompanies our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. So once again, we want our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative to be the driver. We don't want global learning to actually overcome that, and sometimes that balance might be a little off. There are many, many competing initiatives. As Dr. Catonitis mentioned, we do a lot of work at community colleges, and our global learning initiative sometimes is just perceived as another initiative. And I'm not sure what's happening at many of your institutions, but we're experiencing a little bit of initiative fatigue. So that's one of our struggles, is to kind of, once again, make this intrinsic, and having folks feel that this is the right thing to do, instead of giving them another thing to do. And finally, the last struggle is that we're trying to institutionalize something, not just have a few interested faculty committed to it. We really want this to be spread throughout our college. So I guess the question is, really, why do we do it? And I'd like to show you an example of why we do what we do. I'd like you to meet Liz. Liz is one of our students who was the commencement speaker at our Speaker in the Fall. And I'm not going to give you just a lot of introduction because I think her message is pretty clear. But this is really why we do what we do. And
to all of you, my fellow graduates, it doesn't really matter how or where we start. It only matters how we finish. And here we are today at the finishing line, stronger than when we started. I see trees that red. Tonight is about us to them who made it here. Our presence here is the testimony of our determination to achieve. And that is important because life is an amazing game. And sometimes life throws opportunity at our feet And we may think we are not ready for that, but it doesn't mean that we should not seize it and make the most out of it. That's what happened to me 3 years ago when I was given the opportunity to immigrate here in the US. I wasn't ready for that change. In fact, I was scared. But I also knew that it was maybe the only chance I would have to turn my life around. So when I received our immigrant visa, I resigned from my job, I gave up my belongings, I waved my family goodbye, I took my 6-year-old daughter and my yet-to-be-born son, because I was 8 months pregnant, and we all boarded a plane. When we arrived here after a 23-hour flight, a kind family took us in. It was a completely different world, and it was overwhelming. I thought about looking for a job, but being 9 months pregnant didn't really help. So 3 weeks after my son was born, we were taken into an emergency shelter, sleeping in different churches every 2 weeks in one common room with many other homeless families. But despite all these adverse circumstances, I could still see the potential of greatness. And when I was introduced to FCC, I knew that was it. Then challenges started to speak loud, like how will I pay for daycare for my son, for tuition for myself, or every other need? How do I get by as a first-time immigrant, full-time student, single mom, part-time worker? But do you know what was speaking louder than this? The voice of faith. Tonight we are gathered here to celebrate an important milestone in our life as students. And moments like this are important because they remind us that great and good things are possible. FCC is like an oven, baking us to become the product we want to be. So let's not be afraid of the temperature. Actually, let's take a heat and let the energy of that heat catapult us into our next step in life, into our destiny.
I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention today. Have a really wonderful conference. I can answer questions. I think there's a few moments if there are questions about our journey at FCC. I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. Kelly Trigger, who was part of the early conversations. She recognized an opportunity for us to transition from international ed to global learning and sat down and kind of put the bug in my head. So I want to thank Kelly for the initiative and inspiration. So thank you. She's our vice president for the Center for Teaching and Learning. Well, I wish you all luck and have a wonderful, wonderful conference.
Before you go, we can't remedy what the mug that he didn't get in the past, but we would like to give you this conference's mug.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have the next session will be lunch, I believe, and at 11:30, 11:25. So you have a little bit of time to go over and take a look at the posters that are available, and we'll put up any changes in the back of the registration area. Hope you have a great conference, and I'll see you a little bit later. Thank you.